So you've heard a lot about this blockchain thing. Sounds complicated, sounds crazy. It's actually really, really super simple. Here's how blockchain works. Imagine you wanted to keep a record of how much money everyone on Earth had. Imagine you had a giant Excel spreadsheet and you just filled it with the balances that everyone had. And then whenever someone spent money, you change the spreadsheet. Well, here's the problem with that. Whoever maintains a spreadsheet could lie or misrecord who had what money, right? How would you fix it? Just give people passwords. Now, if you want to spend your money, you can only edit your spreadsheet thing if you have the password. Well, Bitcoin's kind of a lot like that. It's a giant spreadsheet that keeps track of how much money everyone has. Now, there's some magic involved. It involves some very complicated computer sciencey terms like the Byzantine generals problem. You don't really need to understand that. What you need to understand is that this is a new computer science breakthrough that allows people all over the world to keep track of how much money in the system, in the Bitcoin system, that everyone has. Now, Bitcoin's not the only blockchain. There's other blockchains out there, but Bitcoin is the most reliable, largest, most censorship resistant, longest running, first, largest market cap, etc. So all a blockchain is, giant Excel spreadsheet with some passwords, with some fancy fault tolerance, transaction ordering, join and leave the network at will kind of stuff that you don't really need to be concerned with. Now, why are they worth so much money now? Well, it's just like any new technology that gets adopted. So in the beginning, things aren't worth very much, right? What was a fax machine worth if you were the only person that had one? Not very much. So we have this thing called Metcalfe's law. It says that the value of a network is in proportion to the square of the number of participants. So what that means is, in fancy language, the more people that join a network, the much, much, much more valuable the network becomes. Because every new participant has so many possible connections to all the other ones. And as you get more participants, you get more and more of these connections. And so if you take a very, very young network like Bitcoin, which 10 years ago didn't exist, didn't have any value at all, and then maybe 8 years ago was worth a penny or $1, and in the end of 2017 was worth $20,000, it's solely the result of a truly, truly mathematically limited thing that was pumped and primed in the beginning to have a value, and then real market price discovery could occur, which arrives at about 20,000 as of the end of 2017. It's about 6,000 as I make this video in the 8th month of 2018. So you may ask yourself, well, why did it go up to 20,000 and down to 6,000? Because it continues to do this. It goes up, 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 up very high because it's very easy to make it go high because it's truly limited supply and you can't mine more of it, right? You only have the supply you have. But the potential for the thing is gigantic. Gold is a multi-trillion dollar market. Well, if Bitcoin takes away 5, 10, 20, 50% of gold's utility as a store of value, well, it's going to be worth trillions of dollars. And then the price is going to be $1 million a coin, a couple $100,000 a coin, you name it. And right now it's only 6,000. So the potential is gigantic. It's a new project. And, even user adoption, there's only 5,000 wallets that have over $100. I'm sorry. I can't remember. You have to look it up. There's some very few number of wallets that have over $100 in them. I think it's about 5 million, actually. And I think there's 2 million that have over $1,000 in them, right? So, Clash of Clans, a mobile game, has 100 million users a day. So if you take this project, which is very new, which has a very large market cap potential, and only has about 5 million real users right now, well, that's a big deal. That's a gigantic, gigantic deal. And it's a little misleading to say that there's only 5 million users. A lot of users just leave their funds not in their own wallets, but in an exchange wallet. So there's several millions of users that just leave their money in exchanges, which is stupid. It's like anti the whole idea of what we're building here. It's supposed to be peer-to-peer currency, not peer to exchange to peer or peer to business to peer, right? So you really should control your own private keys. You really should, treat your wallet as you do your nudes, right? You don't want anyone else getting your nudes. You don't want anyone else getting your private keys. So what are the potentials for this technology? Well, by far, the most important one is the store value use case. Actual payment networks, they're not worth that much, right? PayPal's worth some, Visa's worth some, but PayPal plus Visa plus MasterCard plus every other, Western Union that you can think of, MoneyGram, they don't add up to even, a hundredth or a tenth of the value of gold. So store of value is just a much, much larger market cap and a much, much larger potential value for the system that is blockchain and Bitcoin than all those payment things, which is a reason that without having great adoption, without having tons of users, we were able to hit $20,000 a coin with low adoption, because we don't need adoption to get high value. We just need the store of value use case. What else might you want to know about Bitcoin and blockchain and stuff? Well, you can fork it. You can make copies of it. You can have competing projects, which a lot of people do. Some people ask what mining is. Mining is basically just the reward that you get paid to help maintain the network. So anyone can become a miner, buy a mining machine, start throwing hash rate at the network, and then when you run your own node, you decide what transactions get into blocks and what don't. So a blockchain is just a chain of blocks. Every 10 minutes, transactions get grouped and committed to the chain. Every 10 minutes, another set of transactions get grouped, committed to the chain. Those people that decide what transactions are valid and get to get into the chain or not, well, those are the miners. And, if you got in early mining, you could have made a lot of money, but you'd almost always have made more just buying the coin, so don't feel too bad about it. Some people ask whether Bitcoin will ever be a stable currency. The answer is no. It's very, very unlikely to ever be a stable currency unless it is the global reserve currency, because the speculative value and the interest in seeing it, become much more successful than it is now is so large that you're going to have speculation and depreciation, speculation, depreciation, bubble, bust, bubble, bust. It's just going to keep happening until the market cap's so large that the bubbles are smaller and the busts are smaller because it has so much economic mass. And, that's probably years out, and we'll have a very expensive Bitcoin at that point. The future of Bitcoin, well, right now it's kind of Lightning Network. So if you want to have Bitcoin act as a transaction layer and actually do a lot of throughput, a lot of transactions per second, you can't do it all on the main chain. There's just not enough bandwidth. There's not enough hardware. The entire world doesn't need to keep redundant copies by the thousand or tens of thousands of your coffee transaction. No one really cares that much. So what we do is we use a reduced trust system where you don't store a copy of your transaction across tens of thousands of computers. You just store across a few. Now you have reduced security a little bit, but how much security do you need for a cup of coffee, right? So there's ways of federating and increasing throughput with reduced security, and the Lightning Network is one of those things. And the security that it provides is still pretty awesome. So, you still have censorship resistance, you still have immutability. There's a lot of really cool things that Lightning Network brings that should make Bitcoin a lot more valuable as it gets adopted for payments. We'll see whether people need that for payments. It's very likely that a very low fee, very trusted, trustworthy system, cryptographically secure, would be valuable to people. We don't know yet. It hasn't been greatly adopted yet. It's still in beta, so let's see how it goes. That's about it. So now you know what Bitcoin is, what mining is, what a blockchain is, why the price goes up, why the price goes down, and I hope that if you get in at the bottom of a bear market, you get to ride it up to the top of the next bull market, make a nice 10x. This is one of those times, right? We've already dropped from 20K to 6K. Maybe we go 5, maybe we go 4, maybe 6K is the bottom forever. Who knows? All these things are possible. It's worth investing in. There's really not that many projects out there that could change the relationship of man to government, the relationship of man to other men. It's truly, truly good stuff. If you can't print money for free to go to war, and you actually have to ask the citizens to vote and actually pay for wars, you're going to get a lot less wars. All this free money and artificially cheap credit creates boom and bust cycles that are harmful for humans in housing, in education, and in military defense spending. And I think Bitcoin would solve a lot of those problems. Oh, join my Stripe channel. It's on Telegram. It's our chat channel. There's 5,500 people in there chatting. Not all of them are on at the same time. It's t.me/Stripe, like strawberry grape, STRAPE. Check out my Twitter account. Got 50,000 followers on there. It's Richard Hart Win. I had to throw 3 letters on the end there, so I chose WIN. If you're going to trade, if you want to do margin trading, there's a 10% discount link down in the description. You get 10% off. If you buy the bottom, take on some leverage, you make a lot of extra money. If you sell the top, take on some leverage, you make a lot of extra money. It's nice not to have to sit through a whole bear market, What else do we got? I got a free book. It won't be free when it's finally totally, completely edited and such, but right now, in the state that it's in, it's free. It's called Sci-Vive, if you want it. Gives you all the sex, drugs, rock and roll of, basically all the tips and tricks I've used to get where I've gotten. And, they're in outline form. You can skip to the ones you want. You want better relationships? Go to relationships. You want more money? Go to the money section, right? Anything else? I got my own Bitcoin fork coming out. Should be done in a month or 2. It's called Bitcoin Hex. We took all the Bitcoin holders' money. We forked it onto the Ethereum network. You get a free Ethereum token. Everything's kind of designed to reward early adopters. So if you get in early, you get, a percent every week of all the coins that people didn't claim. So if Satoshi doesn't claim his coins, every week you get 2% of his coins. It's pretty nice. You get in early, you do real well. It's hard to lose money on something you get for free. That's about it. I look forward to seeing you. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Telegram. I got a price calls channel, Richard's Calls on Telegram. I got a trading channel, Strafe Charts on Telegram. Talk to you soon. Richard Hart signing out.